Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back on another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks when it comes to going into these sweatier lobbies. And for the gameplay in the background, I was playing a little bit of the Gauntlet. And for this particular game, I was playing solo. I was also running a few duos, but this one was really my best game that I had in the Gauntlet when I was playing. I ended up winning the game with 14 kills. So I want to commentate over this gameplay and break it down step by step on exactly what I did that allowed me to drop the 14 kills and as well get the win here in this game. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and as well leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me added and supported as a creator. All you need to do this is go over to the item shop, hit X, go to support a creator, and then type in my code, and my code is Young Humor. And once you type that in, all you have to do is accept it, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. So make sure you guys do that. It really does help me out. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so like I said, in this game I am playing solo. I end up winning this Gauntlet game with 14 kills. So when it comes to the Gauntlet and the point system, it's basically you get -3 points for just loading in, you get 1 point per kill, and I think you get a point for top 25, a point for top 12, top 5, and then first place. Something like that. I'm pretty sure I got one of those wrong, but something along those lines. You get points for placements, and as well you get a point for every single kill. So if you're going to point for every single kill, I want to try to get a lot of kills in that early game, so that's exactly what I was doing in this game. And if you guys have ever played a little bit of the Pop-Up Cup, a little bit of the Gauntlet, you guys know the more points you get, the sweatier players you're going to be facing. And so here I came off so the first game I ever played, I got a 15 kill win, and that was a really easy lobby. The first game you ever play, you play against really new players, not really any, really sweats, maybe 1 or 2 at most if you find some. But in the second or third game, if you get a decent amount of points, you're going to be fighting those harder type of players. And a lot of the players I was running into this game were at least better than average players. And since I know that I'm going against, better players, normally if I was just playing a public match and I heard shooting at the bottom of the Trump Tower, then I would just go down there straight up and then I would try to fight the players. But instead I end up going to the top with my balloons, and then I kind of worked my way down and see if there was anybody who was coming up, if there was any other teams that were trying to fight. Because if you guys know, there's going to be a lot of people trying to third party, because those are going to be some really easy fights to win. So the second you get shooting at or you get shot at once, you're going to have a lot of other people who are also trying to join in the fight. So trying to keep an advantage as much as possible. So after I get this kill, I'm going to get hit with a smoke grenade. I know the smoke grenade was a little bit from below me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately go to the top and keep that advantage, because I could have just stayed down there and maybe got a heal or 2 off, but I decided to go to the top first. The reason being, if there was someone coming up, I would already have the advantage and it'd be a lot easier gunfight to win than if me from going from low ground to high ground. So if I just stay on high ground initially, it's going to be a lot easier to win that fight. So here I'm just playing some really aggressive plays. I get 1 tag on that player right there for 70 shield. I see him come up, so I'm gonna go for high ground again, trying to look for any sort of angle that I can get, and I was able to finish him off with that second pump shot. So in this game I only came out of tilted towers with about 5 kills. So I see another player ramping up, and of course this player is gonna be a little bit better of a player, so I'm gonna immediately switch to my steel because it's gonna be a lot stronger and a lot harder to shoot me out. So here I'm keeping my high ground. I'm not challenging this guy too quickly, so I'm making sure I have a good advantage. And for whatever reason my pump didn't shoot, and this guy placed a trap and he hit me. And a lot of times if you jump in someone's box, you're going to get trapped. But in a situation like that, the only reason he even got that trap off is because my pump didn't shoot. I'm pretty sure I didn't have it reloaded or whatever the case may be. But since he was in the same box, he was going to go for the trap, which didn't really matter because I still had a major advantage in the fight because I had my shotgun, or I had my other shots right on his head. So I was dealing a ton of damage even though he got that trap off. But you have to be a little bit careful if you're only at 150 HP. If you're at 200, you can play a little bit more aggressive and you can even risk getting trapped. It's not going to affect you too much because you're still going to have that 50 HP. And if someone's placing traps, they're not going to be able to shoot you at the exact same time. So that's going to buy you a little bit of time. So if they try to go for that trap, it's going to buy you just a little bit more time to go for the shot that you want, line up your shot, and then be able to go to the finish from there. So here I'm heading towards Loot Lake, and this is where it's going to get a little bit into kind of like a scrim type of game. So I see a player, he just got out of this fight here, and I absolutely beamed this guy. I was playing really slow. I knew he was about to come out because there was some extra loot. So I got a few tags on that player and absolutely beamed him, got the finish on him. And going into the later parts of the game, if you're in a sweater type of lobby, or if you're playing in one of the Pop-Up Cups or the Gauntlet Cups, you want to make sure that you play really slow in the end game. You can't play the way I would normally play in the early game. and because I play a lot of aggressive kind of plays in the early game because I can get points per kill, and a lot of players aren't going to be super stacked. They're not going to have a full Scar loadout, blue pump. A lot of times they're not going to be fully stacked like you would in the end game. So that's where I can make a little bit more aggressive plays and play a little bit more riskier than towards the end game. Because in the end game, you have a lot of people boxed up anyways. So if you try to go for a hard push on a player, you're for sure going to get shot from multiple different angles. And it's going to be very difficult to try to get any sort of real tags off. So I'm playing really, really slow. I'm not going to be peeking for too many players for too long. So I noticed the zone is going to come in 50 seconds. So I'm trying to see exactly how I want to be able to move. And if you guys can see, I'm basically making edits on my steel, and the reason being because when it's fully built you can't see out of it, but if you make a quick edit and then you reset the edit, it's going to reset pretty much the HP on the wall, which is going to allow you to see through the wall for at least another 5 seconds. So if you're in a box and you build out of steel and you want to see out of it, just make a quick edit and you're going to be able to see out of it for at least 5 or 6 seconds, and then you can just repeat the same process. So that's what I usually do when I want to see who's around. So now I'm pushing for zone, and as soon as I get to zone, I want to box up, see where everyone's at, see who's pushing who, see if I can get any tags on players who are looking at me, and this player is going to be looking at me mad hard. And so I was sitting there, he had the sniper out, and I didn't push right away. I waited for him to try to take the shot at me, and the second he took the shot, I knew that was going to be a good time to push, or at least go for my shot. And the reason being because after he shot, if he wanted to go for another sniper shot, he has to reload it, or even if he switches to his AR, it's still going to take a little bit of time. So it's going to guarantee me at least a few seconds to get a shot off on him, and I was able to go for the quick finish on that player. So the zone's going to be coming in a little bit, and there's going to be a player above me, but I'm not really worried too much because honestly, for me, I prefer low ground. And if you're coming into the very late game, you always want to try to have high ground as much as possible, but at the same time, you want to have high ground and mats. It's not worth trying to push for high ground or go for high ground when you have no mats. And at the same time, if you are on high ground, you do risk getting challenged from people who are using rifts, because a lot of people are going to be carrying rifts in that late game, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this game as well. And I don't even think I used the rift, but just in case if I ever needed to use it to rotate, if it got really, really sweaty and hard to win, then I definitely would use the rift to rotate and just buy me a little bit of time so I can stay up in the air, and then try to get, wait it out just a little bit longer to try to get a little bit more placement points. So now I'm using a launch pad, and I'm going as far to the next zone as possible because the zone is coming in, and I have to get all the way over here anyway. And since there's other people on high ground, they're already boxed in, I'm going to stay in the low ground here. I'm going to box in, and when I'm boxing in, I'm going to create multiple boxes, and the reason being is going to be a lot harder for other players to come in, because even if they break one of the walls, I can easily just go to the next box, and they're going to have to do the same thing. And since I'm building out of steel, it's going to be super annoying and super repetitive for the other players that try to break it, so which is going to put me at a huge advantage and pretty much allow me to win the gunfight pretty easily if they want to challenge me. In the late game, it can be kind of difficult to get kills and also get their mats, so in rotating, really the best option most of the times, if it's kind of hard to get to the other side, if you really don't have a really clear run on it, then you definitely want to use a launch pad or a rift to get to the next zone. Unfortunately, in this game, I had 4 launch pads, and the reason being because mats aren't going to be the best thing to get, because if it's a hard time to get kills and also a hard time to get their loot, you're not going to be able to have a lot of mats, so you always want to conserve your mats as much as possible. So here, I'm going for high ground, and the reason being is because pretty much I'm the only one up here. There's no other players trying to contest for high ground, so I don't have to worry about people being above me. And with that being said, I did get shot from above. I guess that guy launched pad above me and I didn't even see him, so he get one tag to me. So now I'm playing a little bit slower. The zone is coming in, but that doesn't mean you have to rotate to the zone right away, and you're going to see me even though the zone is rotating in and I have to go to the next zone. I'm going to play it a little bit slower. And I'm playing a little bit slower because I know I can get a few more tags on the way over there instead of just getting there in the first place, because if you rotate too early, you are going to get focused from time to time. But since I was on high ground, I was able to rotate a little bit later and still able to get a lot of tags on a lot of players running over, because you're going to see a lot of players going for fights, and I'm going to be able to get a lot of tags and a lot of kills just from shooting other players who are in gunfights. And I'm going to use another launch pad to get to the next zone, and I honestly could have used my mats. It really wouldn't have been a huge problem, but I decided to just use a launch pad, which could have been a little bit risky if the other player who I'm about to land on, if he ends up, coming out and then trying to shoot at me while I'm in the air. That could have been a little bit risky, but I ended up getting one elimination on that player. And so at this point, I have a good amount of mats. I'm going to continue to keep high ground. I'm not really going to try to give it up for any reason unless I have a wide open shot. So I get one tag on that player for 57 shield, and I'm not going to go down there. And normally in public matches, I would go down there, but in a game like this, I don't want to risk giving up my high ground or giving up my positioning for just one kill, even though it would grant me a point. So here it comes down to the last 2 players in this lobby. So I'm still on high ground. I get one shot on this player who I hear coming up from my left. It was a really good shot. So I see this player on low ground. I get a few tags on this player. I notice he's really weak. So I'm going to keep my high ground, and I have to keep in mind that I don't have any redeploy. So if he does shoot me out, it would be a little bit risky. But I'm not really too worried about it because from his angle, he's not going to be able to get any shots on me. So here I'm maintaining high ground really well. I saw the zone coming in and he had to come out. So I was able to go for a quick edit play and get a nice headshot on him to win the game with 14 kills. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you could, drop a like in this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications to be notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.